After solid US economic growth data, bets on predictions platform Polymarket show the odds of the Fed pausing rate cuts in January 2026 that have surged to a new high of 86%. That suggests Fed Chair Jerome Powell is about to halt rate cuts again, even as core inflation hits its lowest level since March 2021. President Trump on his social platform wrote a long post on how strong economic data is no longer bullish because markets immediately priced in Fed tightening. The gist of his rant on Truth Social was that the market fears policy response more than it rewards growth. He noted that the current Fed regime surpasses momentum and shortens market cycles, and as a result, investors were hesitant to price in strong growth. Trump also expressed that the next Fed will cut rates even during an economic expansion. That is just the latest indication that Trump is keen to select a new Fed boss who would be dedicated to cutting borrowing costs. The president is closer to announcing his choice to succeed the current Fed chair, Jerome Powell. Trump said, "I want my new Fed chairman to lower interest rates if the market is doing well, not destroy the market for no reason whatsoever." He added, "Anybody that disagrees with me will never be the Fed chairman." While most market watchers are focused on 2026, this week reignited the debate on US growth versus inflation. The second consecutive 3% plus growth print leaves many people questioning why the Fed cut rates 3 times in a row this year. The intrigue is accentuated, especially with inflation up at 3% versus the Fed's 2% target. Also, unemployment remains low and equity market trades near all-time highs. Still, Trump wants more rate cuts, period. Separately, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent backed the idea of reconsidering the Fed's 2% inflation target once the US has sustainably brought price increases back down to that pace. The discussion could potentially be framed around a switch to 1.5% to 2.5% range, or 1% to 3%. That view lines up with Trump breathing down Powell's neck to cut rates while inflation remains above target. If the inflation target is tweaked, the Fed would have more room to play with policy. Bessent in an interview said, "Once we are back to 2%, which I think will be in sight, then we can have a discussion. Is it much smarter to have a range?" He noted there is a very robust conversation to be had on inflation target. Bessent added that once we re-anchor to the target, then we can talk about a range.